Hey guys, it's Teo here, making another video here to cover more of the frontline type stuff, how to push out and all that. This video is a little bit more geared towards like if your opponent sets up a strong position somewhere, how to break through or how to go around. This first video is a little bit more geared towards what to do when an opponent sets up a strong position in a 1v1, and just things to keep in mind. After this replay, in this same video, I'll go over another, it's actually a 2v2, but the principles are the same, just like breaking through an entrenched position. Here the map is wide, or not wide, but it has like a lot of different areas of attack, There's like different ways around everywhere, or different avenues to go through. Here just to highlight some. There's just like a lot of different places to go through to get to your opponents. I am going to speed past this first part a bit. I decided to open with 4 mexes. King Gods decides to open with 3 mexes. He's adding on some energy now. I do this this play here on this kind of map. Since it has a choke, I like to choke it up further to make it more difficult for raiders to get into my base. So having these solar walls here, I think helps a lot. This map does have some okay wins. It's not the greatest, but it's enough. So I don't mind getting a few solars, but mostly you want wins. So here, let's slow it down. I move my commander forward. I move actually to his side first, see that he's there with my radar, and then I try to see if I can degun anything or get anything done. I can't, so I fall back and quickly set up some LLTs. King Gods could punish this by degunning it, and actually his commander could just like run at mine, and then hopefully I have enough units to push him back, or force him to get off me, because right now I do have less health than he has. But yeah, I'm just setting up some defenses on this line so that he can't push even more forward. Meanwhile, I also have a constructor here controlling this side, that choke. I do have a bit of a thing there, or an opening there. Just like King Gods has an opening on this side, this Grunts came through, or I'm sorry, this Incisor came through this way, and I just took out his 3 mexes. And then he finally took it out as the Incisor tried to get up the hill there. But yeah, this is a fairly well fortified position. It's a forward position that has these solar collectors, so I do kind of want to take it out if I can. But with his commander there, I can't really do too much, especially since I took some early damage. So instead of attacking this directly, I'm just going somewhere else. There's no reason for me to try to break this position, because it's not going to be breakable with his commander there. So instead I choose to go this way. These 3 Incisors will easily clean up these 4 Grunts, and now I can pick off his constructors, his mechs, and then walk all the way up here again. If he had rebuilt those mexes, I could have taken those out too, but obviously they're not there right now. Actually, I don't go up there. I choose to fall back. I did some damage. I assume that he has a response of units here, so I just pull back. That way I can just repair my units and use them for later. It's important not to just like run in there and lose your units and not get anything done. So I'm just happy with the amount of damage I was able to do, in this location. But I'm also like rechecking it in case he sends another constructor. I do have a radar on it, so I know if there's units down there, and I know that it's clear. So here, really importantly, I know that there's LLTs here, so I get up some artillery to take those out. It's just, you want the right unit for the job, and artillery are great for taking out LLTs. I do an accident here, and I get way too close to my artillery by mistake, so I ended up losing it. I do have a pounder here too, in case he has a bunch of grunts that want to try to slip through. This pounder will do a great job defending that location. But yeah, I just have some incisors going around. King does a good job to section this off so that I can't go down that avenue, but he does have to worry about this top part still. So he sends his thugs down here And mine sizers, they're able to slip by. I can do a little bit more damage on these. I assume he's going to have these again, you know, by this point. But yeah, these thugs, really strong unit, but at the same time they can miss a lot of shots. So things like incisors can pick them off if you have enough of them. Yeah, incisors are great for just running around and, you know, dodging a couple shots here and there. Pawns and grunts do an even better job dodging since they can, you know, quickly turn and you know, change direction. Let's clear that. Yeah, so King is just holding this position here. He's got this position still that I'm trying to whittle down a bit. And then I'm also just sending my forces this way. And another option would be for me to send units up this way. But it'd be very difficult for me to, you know, just go this way. Because his tower still covers it. And I lost my artillery. But yeah, I have plenty of towers here to prevent him from pushing through anytime soon. Meanwhile, I have a lot of raiding units going down the path that he does not have defenses on. And that's the critical takeaway here. As he has defenses here, he has the defenses here. And then, you know, on the radar I see that he has some thugs here that could run around, but they're sitting idle at the moment. So this is my weak spot, is down this way. You know, just like his weak spot is this way and this way. You know, so since this is choked up, and he has some units here, this is a very weak spot that I've already, you know, gone through several times, so I know that it's still weak. So it just allows me to do more there. So he just needs to get a lot of units to defend this location, get some towers up, and you know, take these mexes if he can. There is a lot of metal there, so it is a very valuable location for him to try to hold on to. But yeah, because I was able to just push through there, I can just punish him, because on this map, like, thugs are really good to have, because it is you know, like, there's a lot of narrow chokes, and if you have a bunch of thugs positioned at one of the chokes, it's very difficult to push through it. But he decides to go thugs so early that he doesn't really have control of the area yet. And so I can just overwhelm the thugs with incisors and push through. And so that's kind of what I took advantage of. I just kept pushing down the same alley, you know, knowing that he's trying to defend it with thugs. You know, and I just abused that a bit. So he takes a lot of critical damage here, but the main thing is, you know, this is no longer that strong. A, because I took out one of the towers, and B, because, you know, we're starting to get to the point in the game where there can be more units out. Obviously, you know, I just sacrificed a lot of units doing some damage here, so I don't really have that many. You know, but I do have, you know, some units kind of lining up here to attack this position. And the reason why I know I can do this is A, I have a radar to know where the blips are. So I know he doesn't have, like, you know, a bunch of thugs or something positioned here. But also I know he doesn't have thugs positioned there because I just pulled them all the way back to the main base. So now this location is accessible for me. And so I can just dethrone this area. You know, and meanwhile I'm sending little raiding parties back here again to try to harass those mexes. And I'm just kind of pulling him all these different directions, making it very difficult for him to do anything. And his attention is so split that his 4 thugs are just now finally moving. You know, these could have moved way sooner if I didn't direct his attention away from them. And then, yeah, meanwhile I also got this high ground cliff here full of mexes, so like I just kept expanding. You know, I had my constructor go up there and another one go here. Actually, it might be the same constructor, to be honest. But it could have been 2 separate ones, or the same one or same 2 assisting the same mexes. I do have 3 more constructors coming out here because at this time you know, I got up a bunch of construction turrets. You know, so I don't really need them for build power anymore, so now they can do stuff out on the map. You know, so I'm kind of just sending them out here to secure the locations better. You know, I know that this area, you know, down this way is a weakness of mine right now, and I know that this way is another weakness. I end up building it on, you know, building stuff in positions that are a little bit further back and safer. But this tower that I'm building right there could actually be like up here, or even up here. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult to hold those positions because they are they are further forward. Yeah, these thugs, they pick off that max, and now they're just running around to the back. You know, I have a response team going into position to defend it. Meanwhile, I have another main force up here to be aggressive. And since I did such, you know, a lot of damage, I know I can kind of push in here a little bit. It's better to, like, once you kill off a bunch of economy of your opponent, it's going to be much better to play it safe, of course, you know, and slowly kill them instead of rushing in there and just being all like, oh, I can go kill his commander now. You know, it's a good way to throw away a lot of units. So I'm just trying to slowly find, you know, what can I kill off? You know, so I have a team of guys coming over here, getting that solar there, getting this turret so that, you know, I can push down this avenue later. And then I also have these 3 tanks doing some harass here. And the reason why I can do that is because I know, like, he has a couple of units sticking out, like that one's sticking out, this one's kind of in the middle, so that's not really a good guy to, like, go for. But, like, you know, as units are you know, kind of away from the cluster or away from where the main army is, you know, you can sometimes, you know, just pick them off really quick and get some good value that way. But yeah, here I'm also pulling him in different directions. You know, I got my attack force here and my attack force label thing, attack force down there. You know, so these guys can push in now again as I pulled them with this group here. You know, and I also did so much damage down this avenue that he's overprotective in a way. You know, so I'm not even bothering with that right now. You know, it's the kind of the idea of, you know, just go where your opponent isn't. You know, try to find an avenue or a direction that they're not defending as well, and abuse them for that fact. And then once they've pulled units away from the main part to defend that location, then you can attack that main part again. You know, just like I destroyed this location. So I mean, obviously, you know, this is a very dire situation for King because I got into his main base to do damage. But, you know, he could have also put some turrets and stuff here to prevent all that. Or maybe down here even, closer to the ramp, because it'd be, you know, better to defend against guys coming down this avenue as well. But yeah, I mean, at this point the game's pretty much over. I'm just trying to secure the area first and playing, you know, I'm playing it rather safe by building all these towers. Same thing over here. I you know, have some towers queued up that are still building, and my energy could be a little bit better. I could add on another advanced solar maybe at this point. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to rush in there, you know, trying to be all gung-ho with your commander. You know, just do some significant damage, pull back, you know, save your units, and build up a strong enough force to just punish him with his lesser eco. But yeah, that pretty much covers it for this replay. I'm gonna go over another one really quick after I show you guys the conclusion. But yeah, just go in there and kill him at this point. But yeah, trying to stay away from the D-guns. Like, tanks, like, can get some shots off and run back, and then, you know, he can't really D-gun them at that time. Let's go over this other one real quick. So this is one I played on my own. It was just a 2v2 with some, you know, people I don't know. But yeah, this one's on Central Command, and it's a bit of a goofy map because you have these little tiny pools of water where you can fit a single tidal generator, and the tide on this map is 75, or no, or is it 80? Actually, I think it's 80. Guess we'll find out in a second here. But yeah, it's a 2v2, but it's like split lane, so you're basically doing 2 different 1v1s with the potential of your teammates supporting you, which doesn't happen this game, at least not like the first part. The important part that I want to show off is like breaking the entrenched position that my opponent has. So let's skip this. Let's be past the eco part of the early game. And I'll just put it on player view for this one. So it's not like, we have, full vision of what's going on. So you can have an idea of just like, seeing dots or seeing a few things. Okay, so here already, I finally get up here and I realize that he already has the forward position. This is a great position to hold, and it's really strong if you're able to set, a bunch of towers up and stuff, because you have both these mexes. So if you are able to defend this location, then you're going to be in a better position in the long term, just because you have more metal. Let's resume. So I just have some blitzes out here, mainly to scout and secure the location. He meanwhile has a bunch of, he has his commander here, he has some pawns here, he has some turrets already up. And I try to set up some turrets. This one's obviously getting picked off. Actually, I forgot the radar down here. It's my radar up here. Oh, it does see that area a little bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to get some turrets up of my own while I mess up a force here. Given what he has here with his commander, like there's no way for me to break it at the moment. I mean, yeah, the pawns are not too strong, but I mean, it'd just be very difficult with the commander there. And that's why you want to push up as fairly quickly. If you don't push up quickly, then your commander should definitely be adding like extra stuff at the base, like either pumping out constructors or fixing your energy or whatnot. So instead of doing that, he just ran for it, secured the fronts, and this is a hard position to kill, basically. But I have a constructor up here, in case I want to make some more advanced stuff. Apparently I'm just chilling for a minute since I'm doing some macro stuff probably. And now there's even more dots. And I know that a lot of these are probably pawns, but I don't know for sure. Importantly, you need to know if the dots are moving to try to, flank or raid. These pawns keep trying to run through, and I deny him each time. So he loses a few pawns there because of that. You see a bit of a lightning attack from some lightning towers he has. And he's pushing up with these plasma bots, but I know he doesn't have that many plasma bots, so I can kind of, surround them and do some damage. But he does have those lightning towers to keep me back, so I can't really engage too far. But yeah, importantly, he's making sure I cannot build any towers. But yeah, very importantly, whenever you have force that's damaged, try to repair it so that you can get the most value out of it. So I just have my commander on repeat, and then hitting the R button and dragging a circle. This basically allows him to like within that circle he'll repair anything within it, and while that's set he'll continue to do it. So if something gets damaged later on, he'll still go and repair it as long as it's within that circle. So here my opponent keeps trying to poke at me, rightfully so. These blitzes can't really do much against the static defense. They're not great at that. But the plasma bots can chip away at my force. So I just try to make sure I'm moving to punish it if he gets too close, and running back if I get caught by the towers. These dragon's teeth are not dragon's teeth. They're dragon's. I think they're claws, if I remember right. I think the maw is the one with the fire. Yeah, it's a dragon claw. If you guys don't know what this tower is, by the way, it's built from the T2, or I'm sorry, the T1 constructor. If we go to combats, so there's light laser towers, beamers, or twin guards if you're Cortex. The Overwatch is a heavy laser tower, and then there's the Dragon's Claw. I guess just to talk about it a little bit, to your opponents they look like regular Dragon's Teeth, but then they pop up when something gets too close to it. When they're down, they can absorb a lot more damage, and then when they're up, they're fighting and attacking. But yeah, units will not automatically attack it when it's down, so they're pretty strong. But yeah, to go back to my view. So here, I'm seeing some artillery shots. I'm shooting some artillery back at him. I got some artillery because I wanted to take down his defenses. And I also have a Whistler so that I can see a little bit further, so that it's not dots, and so there's no radar wobble. I'm starting to add on some medium tanks here, because the incisors, they're good raiding units, but I can't really push back, or I can't really push past this with raiding units. It's just so heavily fortified. So what I actually want in this position is a lot of plasma type stuff, a lot of like assault units, which would be things like plasma bots, whether it be the mace or thug. If you're doing vehicle, it would be the stouts, or I forget the name of the other one, but the other medium tank for Cortex. So yeah, just a bit of artillery back and forth. This is a mistake by me. I'm keeping my constructors within this area, just taking damage, and I end up losing all 3 of them. Not so great. But now that I have a sizable force, let's take a look at this really quick. Let's clear that. So what do I have? Shoot, I gotta actually take it off player view so I can count it. So I have 9 medium tanks. I have a lot of the incisors I started with. And then I have 1 Whistler, and where's my artillery? I might have lost my artillery, actually. Yeah, I think they were over here. But then I also have looks like only 1 Janus. Yeah, 1 Janus. Meanwhile, this position, he has these 2 Dragon Claws. He has the LLTs, and he has all these artillery. Now, because I saw artillery attacking, I don't really know how many he has that are straight up artillery, and some of them could be medium tanks or something like that. But given that he has spent so much on the Dragon Claws and the rest of the fortifications, he even has all these construction turrets here. I know that because of those expenditures, he doesn't have that many medium tanks. He's not going to have a lot. So since medium tanks are kind of specialized in breaking a position, they have a lot of hit points, they do a lot of damage. I know that I can basically run through here at this point. Given that I see these dots. I mean, as far as I know, he could have like an HLT back here somewhere. Like this dot here could be an HLT that just is out of range until I get close. So I mean, it could be even more pork than is actually here. But basically, the whole concept is to build up a sizable force. See if you can pick off some stuff by kind of running in here like this, and then retreating. Importantly, to retreat because, it could have been a mistake, and you want to kind of eyeball what's actually here. So once I know what's actually here, I'm kind of doing these circles with my tanks. That's just so that they don't stop as much, like they don't lose as much momentum as they move around. And so I'm just kind of picking off these Dragon's Teeth for now, trying to avoid any, other units that might be back here. And then these artilleries, I can actually just jump on, because artilleries do not do well at all against units. I can just get in there and kill them. They can't really do anything about it, because their shots, take so long to land that they, can't really hit a moving target. So I just break through with medium tanks and, clear all this. And now there's all this metal for me to grab. Brings his commander up, so I actually fall back a bit. The important thing when you're fighting the commander is to try to keep out of its range of D-gun. So that's what I'm, you know, keep attempting to do. I think I lose the tank here and there to it, but yeah, since he doesn't have a lab, he was floating metal, so he shares it with his ally. Yep, and I end up killing it. Importantly though, I end up killing it without losing too much. I take out his title here. Oh yeah, it looks like title is at 75, not 80 on this map. I think I was thinking of a different map when I said 80. But yeah, now I'm just eating the metal. I'm building, you know, these metal extractors here. And now I have so much metal that I end up building a T2 lab. But this isn't necessary whatsoever. Like this could have just been more, you know, a couple more construction turrets, and then I'd be able to push through there with just like T1 units. But in a way, this is like a security measure of like, you know, if he pushes a lot of units down here, like I'm trying to be careful with keeping my units alive, you know, but meanwhile getting T2 so that if that, you know, ends up being, you know, if I'm not able to break through him, I'm able to break through him with T2. That's the rationale anyway. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. I feel like I could maybe make that a little bit more clear. But I am having a little bit of trouble finding good replays for breaking through a position. I mean, I suppose there is one other replay that I could show, but I feel like it's not the best replay. I think this is it. We'll find out, I guess. If it's not the right replay, I might have to just destroy this entire video. That's okay. Good old loading. So let's see, this is Darkside. I was playing this in a party with a couple friends. I'm gonna try to show my side and Contra's side. Contra plays bottom and I play top of the map. So completely separate areas. I mean, there really isn't that much to show. It's just like killing a commander and stuff. So I mean, it's really not the best replay. But I suppose going over it and looking at it might be worth something. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so let's skip. Alright, skip. Fast forward. Clear view. So this one, I believe, is another example of kind of running through, or you know, ignoring defenses and just kind of going elsewhere. You know, pawns, grunts, and such. You know, they're considered raiding units, and they can slip by defenses and attack because they're so fast. So here's my opponent. Here's blue. He was trying to, you know, be annoying here at this spot. You know, since you know, he didn't really have an opponent to, you know, because I just got to the front. He didn't have anyone to fight yet, so he was trying to do what he could down here. But now he's returned. And alright, actually let's go on like 4 times speed, maybe. So King Gods is also here with me, but he doesn't have a lot of units yet. Make note, blue is a 31 player. He does quite well. Contra, meanwhile, he's down here. He's just kind of he has a fairly easy time with this lane, just kind of going through and picking off stuff. Oh shoot, I missed it. Okay, so I basically, you know, I see all these dots and stuff, but I have a sizable force, and I basically gamble. I say like, okay, I know your force is spread out down here, you know, and your force, or actually his force is more like this, right? So I take a bunch of raiding units, in this case pawns, and I just run through this way. You know, he's only has like, you know, a pawn every so often, right? So like if I have a collection of pawns, I can just run through, and then he's gonna have to try to chase me down, you know, or hold the line. And he decides to hold the line with most of his units. You know, I think hoping that's, you know, his units popping out will take care of my raid. Yeah, so here I'm doing a bit of spread. Like when it's a team map and it's fairly open like this, um, you have two choices. Either you keep all your pawns together and try to like raid very heavily at one spot, but then that's easily taken care of because it just means they need units to defend one spot. What I'd like to opt to do, if I can, is just spread out, and that way it's harder for them to defend it. So here I have a big collection of my pawns here at Blue's base that I'm also running through killing off a bunch of mechs. And then continuing to run forward to kill off as many mechs as I can. I do some damage in the back here. I try to kill that. Oh, I do get that, actually. These pawns, accidentally, I left them here. They could have definitely kept going forward. Bit of a mistake by me, but... So, here, King Gods helps me out, attacks the front with me, and Blue loses all of his units. And his commander. Or actually, maybe he pulled his units back, actually, to defend. But either way, he lost his commander, his base is in ruins. I didn't really show this, but Green got attacked a bit earlier too, so he lost a bunch of stuff. Contra's pushing really well down here with the guy next to him. They were able to kill off a commander. And then Contra left his commander out and ended up getting killed as well. So there's a lot of metal here. So it's very important that Pink and Contra, move to secure this location. So that's what they're doing. Purple's trying to defend it, but he doesn't have enough. There's thugs here to defend as well, but not enough. Yeah, since Contra doesn't have a commander, he can't really place down a radar, but I would say Pink should definitely have a radar so that they can see, this area, and then they know, like, if anything's coming in to try to, help with that commander wreck. But yeah, they just secure it. I do another raid back here. Blue kind of handles it though. And yeah, from here it's just like a matter of picking off some stuff. Orange gets in as well. So I mean, this is a pretty dire situation for that team. Another commander explosion here. But yeah, Blue's basically dead. Contra's pushing in with Pink, and they're basically dead. And Middle's holding rather well. So this is actually, I shouldn't even say holding. I would say pushing in as well. So just a very dire situation. Blue ends up leaving, and now at this point I can basically sit back and just chill for a minute, or I can try to keep pushing in. I like to so there's different ways to continue attacking. Either or I should say before all this. So if this player is dead and out of the game, there's two options. Either you go directly to the next player, or I should say two options for attack paths. So either A, you go directly to them, and they might have units like defending against the the player over here. Or I should draw that back. So here's one way. The other way would be to go around this way and then through the back. And that's much harder. That's easier for them to see coming, but at the same time, there's usually less defenses back there. So then once you're in the back in like this area, you can go into their base this direction, or you can continue down, hit green, or continue through this way. It's just kind of like, hitting it in the back is kind of like, it's a flank, so like, you're going to be able to do a lot more with it, potentially. But again, it is easier for them to see it coming, and they can respond to it. But yeah, it looks like Contra broke over here. Looks like Green took that base, so that's still alive, and Green has plenty of units at this point. So I think I probably opt to do T2. Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes after you break a position like that, and you end up securing a lot of metal because of it, because you broke through, and, you ate all the units up, or the commander, or whatever. Basically, if you get a chunk of metal, it is a reasonable time to go T2. Like I'm doing rather well in the lane, I ate a bunch of metal, you know, so I can plop down the T2. Um, you know, this kind of dips into next week's lesson a bit, but when you get T2, basically you want to eat the lab, your T1 lab that I had here. Reason being is just because T2 labs cost a ton of metal. Just to show you really quick. Alright, so T1 labs, like, like the bot lab is 650 metal, the vehicle lab's 740, air lab 860. The T2 lab is nearly 3,000 metal, which is why you don't really want to go T2 unless you have metal secured, or if you're teching up or something like that. You want to get the metal for it first and then build it. And I know that I have metal kind of saved up with the T1 lab. That's another, I had a bot lab, so it was 650 metal. So I used that 650 metal to get the, to help support building the advanced bot lab, along with the metal I secured. And so I was able to build this rather quickly, and now I have, actually at this point, I not only have some outs building my own extractors, I also gave some out to my team. So here, this one I gave to King Gods. I believe the next one I send to Orange, to Caldra, to so that he has T2, or is able to get T2 mexes, I should say. And that's always the most important part of when you go T2, is being able to build your T2 converter or T2 extractors. Excuse me. The T2 metal extractors give 4 times more energy, or 4 times more metal, so they're very good to have, especially on bigger mexes like this 3.2. So this one gives me a whopping plus 13 metal, which is quite a lot for just one extractor. Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to this game. I just wanted to kind of show off, like, breaking that a little bit. I know I said I was going to show Contra breaking too, but there really wasn't that much going on in this game either. For him, it's just like he picked off some units, and then he killed a commander, and then he ate the commander, and got a bunch of metal to get more units, and then break through with those units. So there wasn't too much to say there. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Definitely, let me know if you have questions or need some clarification or whatever. I hope this stuff kind of makes sense, and I hope that these replays do a good enough job kind of covering it. I am asking around to see if there's maybe a better replay out there as well. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys later.